Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me today. In today's video, all right, I'm gonna show you, I'll say, a new scale. I don't know why I don't talk about this more. This is actually one of my absolutely favorite sounds in the whole world. I use it a lot. I first heard Robin Ford do it back when I was a teenager, is when I kind of dug into this, or early 20s. Come to find out later on, it's all B.B. King, and this is just like it's a thing he used all the time. I hesitate to I don't like to just randomly rename scales. I don't like to just take a scale and change one note or add one note and randomly rename it. I'm not a big fan of people talking about like hexatonic scales because they added one note to the blues scale. But I'm going to kind of do that because I don't know how else to name it. I'm going to call this guy the Pentatonic 6 sound. Okay, so let's say that we're playing the good old A minor pentatonic scale. Right? And by the way, you should always be able to play that scale from the top and not just from the bottom. Little side note there. Put my teacher hat on there for a second. All right, so we have root, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat seventh, this note's important, root, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat seventh, root, flat third. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this scale and we're gonna change every flat seven and make it a 6. So we're gonna just slide it down one fret. Now when you play that by itself, it's probably going to sound a little bit funky and unresolved and like, hey, those notes don't necessarily all go together. Like, where is my root? Okay, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to explain it in just a minute. But let's finish it up. So that's, I'll say, box 1. I have box 2, so now this is third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, third, fourth. You can still do the blue note. Right, so 3, 4, 5, 6, root, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, flat 3, 4. Right, box 3 starts on the fourth, fifth, sixth, root, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Love this shape, by the way. Root, third, fourth, fifth. Blue note if you want. Fourth, fifth, sixth, root, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, third, fourth, fifth. So it's a little bit funky there. Going up to box 4, we're gonna have the fifth and the sixth right away, and then root, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is again another shape I really is comfortable for this sound. And then of course to finish it out, box 5 we can't start it on the 7th, we got to start it on the 6th. 6th, root, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth, root. Okay, so that is, I'll say, all 5 of the boxes, and it's the kind of thing you can play through fairly easily on your own. If you happen to have any of my courses, I usually put an encyclopedia of scale patterns at the beginning. Those are all written out. But it's not like it's hard to just move one note. You just play the scale, but move the one note. And that's really not that much of a challenge for most people. That's not what makes this really cool. What makes this really cool is how we can use it. And there's a couple of really, really neat ways. The first is, let's say that I'm just, playing a blues. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay down a little A7 chord here. Right? So I can play right? I can play my A minor blues scale. And that sounds fine. But I can occasionally, and again, like everything, we want to, season to taste. Okay, so I use the 6 instead of the 7. Occasionally, right? You just throw it out. Here's another really, really, really cool use though. When the 4 chord comes along, okay, you may remember that I mentioned it sort of almost doesn't sound like it's an A anymore. You might feel like it's not an A. Well, here's the thing. What we've done is actually we have A, C, D, E, F sharp, A, which are all of the notes in a D9 chord. You are quite literally playing a D9 arpeggio with these 5 notes. Okay, so if I go back to my blues, right, and I give you some 1 chord, 2, and then here's the 4 chord. So I can have my minor. Minor again. Now I'll do that. Here's the 4 chord. Right? It's a really, really cool sound because it's quite literally the arpeggio of the chord. It's going to have all of the notes from the D7 plus the 9 in it. So even if somebody's playing a D9 chord there, it's the perfect fit. And it's one note. It's one note that you have to change. And what's funny is that, at least for me anyway, when I play the minor blues scale over, say, a D7 chord and a blues in A, I hear this. And I wanted to do that. Like I want to change that note because that note goes with the chord, but that's not the minor scale. That's not the minor pentatonic scale. So for a long time I thought, no, you can't do that. Like that's not the scale. You can't do that. Yeah, you can. And it sounds really cool if you do. Okay, so again, it's just taking that one note. And it's really easy to utilize it over a blues because the 4 chord is kind of really obvious, right? We usually have four bars of 1 up front and then 2 bars of 4. So when I first started using this, I would use it exclusively over the 4 chord in a blues. I would just kind of wait for that to come along and then I would use that pentatonic 6 sound, and I always love it. I just always love that sound. I don't use it all the time now. I've kind of, I'll say, gotten over it and realized I like it in a little bit smaller doses. But of course, when I first learned it, I used it all the time. And I think you will too, because it's a really, really fun sound. There's one other, I'm going to say a little bit hipper way you can use this scale that I have been known to use it. And it is actually to create sort of an outside sound. So if you're into the more jazzier outside blues sounds, and let's say you're playing over an A7 chord, if you take and go up a half step and play this arpeggio, play this pentatonic 6 sound, you will get the 3rd of the chord, the flat 9, the flat 7, the sharp 5, the flat 5, the 3rd, that's it, the flatted 9 again, right? Like, so you have all these altered tones. Okay, so again, this is if you're into this kind of thing. The 4th bar, right before the change, okay, right before it goes from the 1 chord to the 4 chord is a really cool place to sort of throw this in there. And then I'm using the pentatonic 6 for the D chord. Okay, so again, it's a little bit of an outside sound. I understand that it's a little bit of an outside sound, but it's a really cool sound. What it also happens to appear, if you're familiar with the house pattern. Okay, well, so there's the root, there's the 6. And then, of course, I bend the 2 either to major or to minor. So there's no flat 7 in that pattern anywhere. We're going to use the 6. So that can be another really cool way to sort of access, if you do the minor bend, but you grab the 6, you're getting close, not exact, but close to that pentatonic 6 sound. So again, if you're, playing, sort of B.B. King style, you keep jumping down to that 6 while you're playing all that kind of stuff. It really, really leads well. So it's a great sound. It's one to try out. I would say, learn it in chunks, right? Like, so take the first box, take your minor pentatonic, make the change, get used to it there. Improvise over, for a while. Play a blues into a looper, put a, blues jam track on or whatever. Practice getting it. And then maybe try a box 2. And you're gonna find, and then for a while, try box 3. Again, box 3 I really love, just for that little spot. I just think that's a really, really cool sound. It is very B.B. King influenced. B.B. King's birthday's coming up, so I'm I'm in a B.B. King mode right now anyway. But this sound obviously gives you sort of that B.B. King, but it also gives you a little bit more jazzy sound if you want. And B.B. King was a big jazz aficionado. He grew up listening to like Lonnie Johnson and a lot of those cats that were playing like big band and jazz and stuff like that. And he, in interviews always said he wanted to sound like that. So he did a remarkably good job with a limited vocabulary. That's a topic for another day. But in any event, I really want to encourage you to try this sound out. It's a really, really fun sound. It's something that you can just throw in here and there, used in the right parts, right over that 4 chord. It will just lock your solo to that chord. Really makes it's a very impactful sound without a lot of movement. So try it out, play with it. As always, if you have guitar playing friends that would dig this video, please share it with them. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.